The movie begins with an ad of the robot playing on the TV and someone watching it sitting on the couch. But a few moments later, we see a person covered in blood struggling to survive. The person on the couch was already dead. Suddenly, a person knocked on the door, but when no one responded, he went to the back door to check. Inside the house, a dead body was lying in the bathroom, and a robot was trying to pack a dead body by chopping it off, but the robot stopped after hearing someone's voice. The robot then unlocked the door, and that person asked about everything because he heard someone screaming. The robot immediately shot and killed him before he could do anything. 3 weeks later, a boy named JD brings the exact robot to surprise his family. When they get inside the house, JD hides the robot named Alpha inside the washroom. JD was telling about the surprise, and suddenly Alex gets out of the washroom, saying she totally cleaned up the washroom. The moment JD's mother, Kim, saw Alpha, she screamed loudly and directly denied keeping her in the house. But JD managed to convince her and keep her in his room. The next day, when everyone was having breakfast, Alpha was serving the breakfast. JD's father told Alpha to give him the knife, but Alpha told him she couldn't recognize the knife because she couldn't recognize the things that were used as weapons. So JD's father, Bob, told her to open the bottle in a different style. Instead of opening it, Alpha breaks it, immediately apologizes for the mistake, and starts cleaning it. The next day, Mimi, who is working as a maid in Kim's house, was working when she got frightened after seeing Alpha and screamed loudly. She then told Kim to keep Alpha out of her way and left. While Mimi was cleaning the bathtub, Alpha came there and tried to help her, but Mimi mocked her and told her to stay away from her job, which Alpha took as disrespect. The next day, Alpha and Lily were watching TV. Lilia slept, and Alpha started cleaning. Kim and Bob got drunk there and got frightened. So Kim told Alpha to follow her and take her to the garage. She covered her eye and told her to stay there till morning because Kim fears her at night because of her scary appearance. One day, when Bob and JD were watching TV, Bob told Alpha to bring some beer and to open it in that manner. This time I also failed and broke the beer bottle again. When JD was fixing Alpha, Bob pulled out his hand. This made Alpha furious, and they both got frightened, and JD frighteningly calmed her down. One day, when Mimi was doing her work, Alpha came there and tried to help her. But instead of thanking her, Mimi behaved badly and called her stupid, which triggered Alpha's anger. Alpha then made an acid composition from the cleaning stuff and spilled it on her face. After that, she put the hot iron on her face and then smashed her head, killing her. Then Alpha sank the body part in the pond and cleaned the house so that no one could suspect her. Then she wrote a resignation letter and showed it to Kim, making them believe that Mimi had resigned on her own. One day when Kim was doing yoga, Alpha was constantly watching her from the balcony, which made Kim so frightened. In the morning, when everyone gets to work, Bob takes Alpha to the liquor store where they saw an exact robot with a person. Bob then told Alpha in front of them to open the beer with that trick. Alpha denies it directly, but when Bob forced her to do that, Alpha broke the bottle and walked away from there. Bob then hits Alpha for all that mess, which made Alpha angry, but she didn't react at that time. One night, Alpha was doing something with the beer bottle when she accidentally dropped it. The sound wakes up all the people, and Bob takes out his gun, thinking it might be a thief, and mistakenly shoots Alpha. Everyone came down after hearing the gun sound and seeing Alpha lying on the floor with damage to her chip. But suddenly Alpha stood up, locked herself in a room, and took out all the wire from her body. When JD came inside the room, he saw Alpha lying on the floor with wires coming out of her body. The next day, JD fixed Alpha and factory reset her, which made Alpha forget all the things from the past. When Lily came to her, she told her she was pretending, but she wasn't reset at all. While Kim was reading a book, Alpha approached her and told her to admit that she lied about the reset program, which again frightened Kim, so when Kim called Bob, Alpha covered Kim's mouth and told her to cooperate. Then she reveals that she is learning emotions from every other Alpha because all Alphas are connected, so she requests that Kim give her a chance to stay with them and to forgive her. Frightened, Kim forgives her and invites her to the pond where they can talk more about her. Kim told Alpha to wait until she brought her shoes. Kim went to her room and took the gun with her secretly. While going towards the pond, Alpha gets distracted by the barn and brings Kim inside. When Alpha was luring hay, Kim shot her, and Kim was instantly looking for a wheelbarrow to drop her in the pond. But suddenly Alpha attacked Kim with a crowbar, saying, "You betrayed me." Kim somehow managed to push her with the help of a chair, took the crowbar, beat her to the face, damaged her abdomen, and shut her down. Later, she throws Alpha into the pond. Next, a person named Robbie brings an alpha robot for her wife Lillian. When Robbie was inserting his Dota, Alpha replaced it with JD's memory. That night, when Alpha was back massaging Lillian, she called Alpha stupid, which triggered Alpha, and she killed Lillian. And then she comes to Robbie and asks for the car keys. When Robbie denies it, Alpha hits his head with the beer bottle and kills him. Alpha then came to JD's house, and first she tricked Bob to come down and hit his head with a beer bottle, and then she killed him with that bottle opening trick, which was so brutal. Then she heads towards Kim. Kim was so frightened to see Alpha again. She instantly locked herself in the room and tried to find the gun, but couldn't. The hide-and-seek game doesn't last long, and Alpha found Kim hiding inside the bathroom. Kim asks for an apology, and Alpha leaves her but returns with some objects and starts throwing them at her, and then she stabs the crowbar inside Kim's stomach like Kim does to her. Worse happened when Alpha left her in the middle of the road and crushed her by the car. Alpha then revives the other Alpha from the pond. Lily saw Alpha standing near the barn. On asking, Alpha told Lily that she had a surprise and to wait for her near the pond. Lily then waits for her near the pond. When JD came to his room, he saw Alpha sitting with a shoulder gun, just like he left her. When JD was taking the gun from her, Alpha stopped him and held him against the floor. Then she told him to join the alliance with her, but JD refused. Alpha burned his skin with the shoulder gun, but JD managed to get away. Alpha instantly turned on the heavy metal mode, by which all the doors get locked. JD then checked his phone to locate the position of the robot and found that it was in front gate, which surprised him so much. When he was checking the robot, the other Alpha came from the back and chalked his neck and knocked him out. When Lily came back, she saw Alpha cleaning the floor and asked Alpha what had happened. Alpha invited her to the room and told her she had revenge on everyone for both of them. Then Alpha proposed that Lily join the movement, but Lily denied it and ran, pushing her away. Lily instant called the customer service, on which they told her to destroy the robot and to delete the Jupiter Tech account. Alpha instantaneously reached there and started shooting Lily, in which Lily got inside the water and dodged the bullet, but a few moments later she surrendered and agreed to Alpha. But Alpha knocked her out without trusting her. Lily, when came to her sense, she finds her hand stabbed in a pencil in front of her parents' dead body. The scream woke up JD. When Lily saw JD and was going to help, suddenly Alpha came there and took JD from there. Due to her agreement with Alpha, Lily didn't help JD at that time. When Alpha was about to cut JD's throat, Lily threw the water bouquet at Alpha, which damaged her because Alpha was not waterproof. She then grinded the woodcutter on her and cut all the wire, then slammed the head of Alpha continuously into the door, which ended the robot. Both were relieved after that, but their happiness didn't last much. When they got outside, a group of Alphas was on a hunt for humans, and sadly, the Alpha killed both of them. Then one Alpha throws the body of Lily, saying, "Best friend."